Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name's Trent, and today we're going to tie the Undertaker. Now, in the world of salmon flies, the Undertakers are pretty new to the game. It came out in about 1979. A gentleman by the name of Duncan Warren, I believe. He was tying this fly in New Brunswick. It's a great fly, and now it's in most fly tyers' fly box. And the nice thing about this fly, and a lot of other salmon flies of that era, if you have a hook, a salmon hook, tie the fly. I've seen this fly tied as far down as a size 12 up to a size 2. I've seen it tied on doubles and singles alike. It's a great fly. Sit back, enjoy yourself. Let's get into the tie. Okay, we've got the hook in the vise, and I'm going to go ahead and start off with a white thread. This is a bend back hook, so as you can see here, there's a little bit of a void there, and so you'll see me and hear me talking about running material forward just to fill that void, and that's what I'm talking about. So I'm going to run the thread back. I want this fly to start right at the point of the hook. So I'm right here. So the next material I'm going to put in is I'm going to be using a flat tinsel right here, and this is just this is a silver and gold, and I'm going to want a gold tag. So I'm going to put the gold side against the shank of the hook, and then I'm just going to make some wraps to bind that down. I didn't measure this, but I think this is considered small when you're buying it. Mine's an old piece, and honestly, the sticker that told me what size it is has been long gone, so but I think it's small. So I'm just going to tie that in, and I'm actually just going to clip off this. Now I'm going to use this same material for the rib, but when we get there. So the next thing we're going to do is, and I think it's showing up okay on the screen, I'm putting in a base of white thread. And the reason I'm putting in a base of white thread is because for this Undertaker, we're going to have some fluorescent yellow, which this is my fluorescent yellow green color. I'm going to have that in, and then I'll have some red in front of it. And this is the silver is the tip, or the gold rather is the tip. And then this is the tag. And by using white thread, it gives the material a lighter background and will make this a little more vibrant. If I used black thread or a different colored, darker colored thread, this would come through here and it wouldn't look as bright and as vibrant. So if you're tying these and you're seeing that you're having issues with your thread not being maybe as vibrant of a color as you think it should be, that's probably why. Now I wrap that on purpose a little wider than I need, because I plan to go back and touch it with the red. So the Undertaker fly has a tip of gold, and then it has a tag of fluorescent yellow. I'm using a fluorescent green. You can use other colors. And then this is just some, hope that's coming through, some Danville, just some red. And I'm only going to use one strand. So I like to use Unistrand a lot too, because it's just one strand. And maybe I'll go ahead and use 2. Alright. I kept going back and forth. I've decided I'm just going to use the 1 strand. So what I do is I kind of know where I want it to end. That way it's just about equal, maybe a little smaller than the yellow. Then I'm just going to go over the top, make touching wraps with the floss. Then come back forward. There we go. I'll just back off a couple wraps, catch that. And there we have it. Excuse me. So the next portion we're going to tie in here. It's just a little bit of a tail. And I am using, this is a patch of black bear on here. You can see I've been tying off of it for quite some time. A really good friend of mine, when I was in New York, he killed this black bear and gave me a rather large piece of the material, about a 4x4 chunk, believe it or not. So I'm tying this in here. These first 2 wraps are loose wraps. These first, well, 3 wraps, I guess. They're loose. I'm just, see how that's not on the top? Doing it loose gives you the ability to move it. Get on the top, everything where you want it, and then I can come back with tighter wraps and really lock down this material. Now I'm going to wrap this all the way up to here, and I want all that hair in there. It just helps with the body, building up that body material. Alright, so the next thing we'll do is we're just going to run this thread back, flip this upside down real quick, and then we're going to tie in the material we'll be using for our rib. Here we go. Sorry about that, just took me a minute to find it. So I guess that first material was a medium that I used on the tag, because now I'm using a small, and you can definitely see the difference. And again, it's gold down because I want gold to show, right? And then what that'll do, tying it underneath, my rib will start on the other side of the fly, which is something I like. Now for basically the rest of we'll call it the body of the fly, is going to be peacock. So you want to get peacock curl, and the best way I think to get your peacock curl is straight off the feather. I was very fortunate years ago. I had a good friend who brought me a bunch of feathers, and I can kind of show you this, and I clipped all of the peacock myself. So I've got like a gallon bag full of peacock. So I've got 2 peacock curls, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clip off about 3/4 of an inch, whatever, of the tip. And I do that because the tips are very brittle. So we're just going to Tie this in like so. Come forward with it. And so what we'll do is we're just going to take our peacock, and I've seen people take their peacock and they'll twist it, and they'll do all kinds of things to, I guess they feel like it makes it stronger. I just like, I'm doing it this way, and I'm going to trust my ribbing that I'm going to counter wrap here in a minute to hold everything together. But peacock, in my opinion, is absolutely gorgeous material to use, and is also incredibly fragile. It'll break real easy if you're not careful when you're tying it. So we'll give one more wrap. That'll be it there. And we're going to tie that off underneath, like so. While I'm at this point here, because I'm getting ready to get up to my head, I'm going to go ahead and switch out my threads. I'm going to, I was using the white just for the vibrance of the colors back here. Now I'm going to tie in a black, and I just really want this black thread. It will be what I'm going to use for the head, and I don't want any of this white shining through when that time comes. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put in our rib, and our rib is going to be gold. So we just have to get this thing to cooperate with me. You just want a nice equal rib. Ideally you want 4 to 5 ribs on here when you tie this fly. So there's my ribbing, and that's completed. We'll just flip that over and clip off the excess. I like to clip all my materials when I'm tying. I know there's people that will just snatch it and break them off. I don't do that anymore because I've shot my hook across the room doing it that way. So the next thing we're going to put on is a throat. Now for a throat, these are schlappen feathers, and when you go to buy them, they're called schlappen, so you can look for those. They're long, they're webby, and they're great for what I'm getting ready to do here, which is a throat. So what I do is I just take one of those feathers and I just pull it off the quill, some material. And the amount of material you want, you don't want to overdress it. You don't want a big thick throat. But I do want my throat to reach back to about here. So I just kind of measure what I need. I transfer that from one finger to the next. Clip off a lot of the excess. And then we're just going to hold that here and give a couple wraps just to hold it in place. So, and then push on it with your thumbnail or fingernail, I guess. It just kind of moves it, kind of flattens it, so it's not bundled up. It'll flatten it a little more for you. Okay. So do that, and then we can just flip over. And I didn't put in a bunch of wraps for one reason. getting ready to wrap in a head, and I'm going to put a lot more wraps down there. So again, same patch of black bear, and I'm going to get a, you know, the wings are subjective. I don't like a big, heavy, thick wing. I know some people do. But it flays out pretty good. But you know, if you twist it, that's about the size I'm looking for. And then I want my wing to go about half the distance of the tail. So right about there, you can see that measurement. So I'm just going to transfer that measurement here and then clip it off. And I'm just going to come in on this edge here ever so slightly. Clip a little bit of an angle there. And I put that angle on purpose because I want, when I tie it, I'm going to hold it down onto the shank of the hook. I'm going to put a little bit of wax on here because I'm using some Vetus thread, and then this black bear is kind of slick, so put a little bit of wax on there will help with the grip. So see that? Now I'm pinch wrapping that black bear wing, and then I'm giving pretty good torque wraps to hold it there because I don't want it to spin like it's spinning deer hair. So I like to just take this, kind of flatten the wing just a touch, like so. I'll take my comb that out, and then we're just going to finish off this head just to kind of clean everything up a little bit. So that is done. A couple wraps down to the front. Time to whip finish. Now when you whip finish these flies, or whip finish any fly, start low, and with each wrap of the whip finisher, move up the head. Okay, I see people do this incorrectly, and your head's not going to be as strong as you think it is. So doing it that way, you get a lot of wraps, you cover it, and clip. And last but not least, we're going to put a little bit of Sally Hansen's Hard as Nails on here as my head varnish. There seems to be a little fiber. Caught some glue right there. So we'll just pull that off. All right. So here is the Undertaker. It is a really great Atlantic salmon and steelhead fly. I hope you all give it a shot. Try tying it. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know below. I'm happy to answer anything I can. And I hope to see you around the vise.